so firstly, will you just tell us a bit about how the Ensemble 360 got together and formed, a bit of its history?
Sure.
If that's okay.
Yeah. Well, the Ensemble was formed in 2005 when the Lindsay Quartet retired. And they were a resident of the Crucible studio in Sheffield. And Peter Cropper, the leader of the Lindsays, had an idea instead of to get a new quartet, to get a bigger ensemble. One of the reasons for this was that that Sheffield is one of the biggest cities in Europe that doesn't have an orchestra. So his idea was either to form a sort of proto-orchestra or to have an equivalent sort of group as a chamber ensemble. So we have 11 players, and the Elias String Quartet were members for the first 4 years. But in the last couple of years we've been putting together some new string players. And we now have a full ensemble, in fact, for the very first time, I think, as of about a month ago. And
so now, at the present time, how much of an active playing do you have around? Do you play loads and loads, or is it a kind of fortnightly thing that you have concerts, or...?
It's not sort of any set number of concerts. I mean, we have residencies in Is it residencies?
Well, we
have concert series in Barnsley and Doncaster,
okay.
And obviously our series at the Crucible. But around that, we have lots of other concerts together, which is.
And we do the touring program, which Music in the Round is responsible for.
And with having so many members in the ensemble, what are the advantages and disadvantages with picking and choosing for repertoire and having a bigger group to...
Well, the main advantage, of course, is that you can do almost anything that's been written.
The possibilities are endless, which is so unusual, actually.
I mean, the only problem for me is a lot of contemporary music requires other instruments that aren't so readily available or would be too expensive. So if you were to do some Boulez chamber music, for example, you need a vibraphone, and of course that's out of question. Something like that. So there are some disadvantages, but they're so minimal compared to the advantages. Just the rest of musical history we can cover more or less.
And with your repertoire, do you kind of build up a certain amount of repertoire and then tour it all and then start again, or do you build it up and just pick and choose from what you've built up over the years?
Really, I think it's a mixture of both, because obviously now we've got new members to the ensemble. Some of us would have done a lot of the repertoire before, but not together. So really, it's a mixture of new stuff, and obviously it's always nice to go back to stuff that you've done before.
And it's good if there are frantic times where you've got a lot of concerts. It's nice to have some staple repertoire, things like the Schubert Track Quintet or whatever. You don't necessarily need to rehearse so much anymore if you've done it 300 times.
But things like the May Festival, which is coming up very soon, actually is sort of such a breadth of repertoire that it's going to really be a real mixture of things we've done before and not that it's...
Possibly not even heard yet.
Yeah.
And so are you all within a reasonable distance from each other, or do a lot of you have to travel quite far?
We're really based between Sheffield and London, actually, at the moment.
Right.
So in a way, it's quite good. The string members live in London, so we can do a lot of string quartet rehearsal in London. But mainly our base is definitely Sheffield, I'd say.
My house, in fact.
Yeah, we
do most of the rehearsal in my house.
Regularly.
With the piano. Originally, the idea was for everyone to live in Sheffield. That was 6 years ago when it was formed, which is a great idea, very, very nice idea. But increasing that's become impractical, I think. Particularly if people have families and whatever, they're not going to up sticks from London and come to Sheffield immediately. So.
But it's not, it's very easy to get back and forth. So we're making it work.
Okay,
it's no problem.
And with the fact that you're the ensemble in residence here, that's a new thing this year, isn't it? So what other than the concert series, what other relationship with the university have you had?
Well, we do the workshops after the concerts that we do here in the afternoons. We actually have more planned coming up. We haven't done a huge amount this year yet. I think most of what we're going to do is coming. Okay. It's still coming. I'm coming in, hopefully. We're trying to find a date at the moment to do some piano mass classes. Naomi, our horn player, will be in to do some stuff. Matt is coming on the 29th of March. We have another concert, I think 7th of April is the next concert we have. So we'll be doing more workshops after that. And I've mooted an idea to Phil Thomas, which is something I'd love to pursue in the future, of potentially having a composer in residence at the ensemble from Huddersfield. That's not even been we've literally discussed as an idea, but that's something I would love to
I think
pursue.
you'd have quite a few people jumping.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you do any other work with young musicians other than here at the University of Huddersfield? Is there anything else?
We do regular work with schools in the Sheffield area, and that's hugely important to us as an ensemble. Education work and workshops with playing with them, and for example in June we're doing a piazzolla weekend with we're making a string orchestra of all from schools in the Sheffield area, and we're going to be working with them and putting a concert on at the end. And then we also do work with local schools with their compositions. We have a day where they all write pieces for whatever combination, and then we play it through and work on it with them and do a concert at the end.
That's great. I remember having a group of an ensemble come in at our GCSE when we'd done our composition.
Right.
We'd all written a waltz, and they all came in and played our waltzes.
Yeah.
And it just makes such different things to life for them, and they can really hear.
And they're given certain pieces as models, so they have pieces of Schoenberg and Ligeti and so on, just to give them some inspiration.
I wish I could write like Schoenberg.
They don't necessarily end up writing like Schoenberg.
But some of them really...
Some of them are amazing.
Yeah.
Someone a couple of years ago did write a 12-note piece, which was really good, actually. We also, though, we're residents at Sheffield University, which... as I'm sure everyone's aware at the moment, the cuts have sort of have been on the cards for a while. So we haven't done a huge amount there in the last couple of years, but we're hoping that will be something that can blossom a bit more. So.
And do you think there needs to be any more work done to encourage professional musicians going into places of education?
Definitely.
I think we're on a bound. I do think to have any sort of public funding, it's a matter of it should be a matter of course that you do these things. But even if it's private funding, this is just crucial. If classical music is to survive, we have to do this, and because also it's a joy, because it's for everyone, isn't it? After all.
Yeah.